Hello, Charles Fockaert, August 29, 2018. I welcome all of you again. And I don't know how much longer this is going to go on, but I'm going to get in as much as I can while I can. This video is kind of like an update on the current events. Been up here in the mountains of Montana. Haven't had a lot of access to the news and all that, thank goodness. Trying to get the stress out of my life as much as possible. Pretty hard to do that in the world we live in if you watch much of the news, the fake news. I want to talk about the economic collapse that's coming, and been occupied with the level playing biblical earth, because that is a paradigm shift of 500 years happening. It's a big deal, folks, which might just be the black swan that tips us or helps tip us over into obvious third world conditions. I've said the United States is a third world country now since I got back from over 13 years being overseas back in 2011. Come back here, and the first thing I noticed is that we were a third world country now. Doesn't look like it because we were a first world country and we're headed down. And but all the conditions, or almost all the conditions, for third world countries exist in the United States. We have a corrupt a political system. We can't trust whether our vote matters or counts. We have a two-party system. Nobody else can get in. What's the difference between two parties and one party when both parties are the same? Same, but different. Same, but different is the saying I learned over in Thailand, and boy, is it true. Same, but different. I come over here from third world countries outside of the United States, and what do we got here? Same, but different. We're headed toward an economic collapse. I got several videos back there in the past about the reset to reality. We're getting very, very close. I'm surprised. I'm absolutely amazed at how long it's taken. They've been able to bubble gum, pop that hole, masking tape over here, duct tape over there, a couple paper clips, some epoxy cement, JP weld. This whole thing is all being held together in many, many different fronts, folks. And there's a fellow over there at the website, the Christianity for the Thinking Man, that wants you to think that gold and silver are not important. And I tell you, that's where we had our falling out. Gold and silver are important. Gold and silver are money.
Do you think gold is money?
No.
It's not money. Even if it had been money for 6,000 years, somebody reversed that and eliminated that economic law.
Well, it's an asset. I mean, it's the same. Would you say Treasury bills are money? I don't think they're money either, but they're a financial asset.
Why do central banks hold it?
Well, it's a form of reserves.
Why don't they hold diamonds?
Well, it's tradition, long-term tradition.
You know, some people still think it's money. I yield back. My time is up. Thank you.
I go into that all in the other videos. I'm not going to go into it here. You can't get a master's degree or a PhD in economics by not going to the lower, what do you call them? The basic, what do you call it? The lower division studies. We're headed for a collapse, folks. And what's going on in Venezuela is what's going to go on here. And the price of gold and silver in Venezuela shot up because it's not being restrained over there like the illusionary COMEX, the fake commodities exchange we have here in Chicago. And their money is basically worthless. I understand the inflation rate is several hundred thousand, maybe even in millions of percent. So we're going towards Venezuela. It's just going to take longer because we're a stronger country to begin with. And the people who control the money supply in the United States are just that. They control the creation of the Federal Reserve note, the petrodollar, but most major countries, China and Russia and other countries, are moving away from the dollar. It's no longer being held in a lot of countries as a reserve currency. They don't need it now to buy oil from Russia. I'm not going to go into all the history. But I want to stay on the fact that this kind of concerns me, because I can't spend the winter up here in the north in an RV. I'm full-time RV now. I've gone into that in the past, and in much as a result or caused by our enemy, the Esau Edomites. Not going to go into that, but I'm living on on a real world experience as a result of the influence, the adverse effect the Esau Edomites have had on my life. And that's why I'm here, and I'm trying to share with you and in the On the Road with Charles series what it's like. And I mentioned in the last video that YouTube has removed about half of those series. There's 40 videos in that series, and YouTube's removed about half of them. Now, what's in those videos that they don't want you to see is beyond me, but that's what they're doing. I mentioned Amazon Lulu censored my book. I've been censored in the past. 2 strikes here at YouTube. How much longer this is going to go on, I have no idea, but I'm going to do what I can to get the information out there to you. And that includes level playing biblical earth. Been lied to about everything. Everything. So when the fulcrum tips and we go mainstream, which we're there now, we're almost there now, we're very, very close there now, despite what the bozos say, those in the Israelite identity, and they're going to be they're going to do more to turn away people from the Israelite identity people, the Israelite identity message. Let me clarify that. The Israelite identist, the Israelite identity adherents who ridicule, mock, and condemn and accuse the level playing biblical earthers of being nominal Christians, worshippers of demons, etc., not real Christians, etc., and worse, insane, etc. They're going to bring the Israelite message, the Israelite identity message, into going to bring a bad report, or going to have an adverse effect on the Israelite identity message because of their stand on the level plane creation aspect, or the creation aspect of the level plane earth. So I'm trying to head that off as much as possible. So I talk about level plane biblical earth and Israelite identity truth at the same time. I try to bring up and try to bring into play the role that the Israelites had in the discovery of the New World from Europe. I do what I can. But back to the collapse that's coming. I'm a little hesitant. I'm very uneasy. Last year I thought I was taking a chance, but this year I'm really taking a chance. This is already September this weekend, and we're headed into the fall, and a lot of bad things in the economy happen in the fall for some reason. And I believe Donald Trump has been set up to get us through. You can go back and watch my videos on Donald Trump. I've never been fooled by Donald Trump. It's all there in the public record. Go back and listen to it. I'm not one of these false prophets like the Trump prophecy and John Kahn and Jonathan Kahn, and he gets thousands of listens, thousands of views, and he's a con artist. And here we are trying to tell the truth, and I'll be lucky to get 200 views on the video. But that's life. That's the way it is. And but we've got two messages here: Israelite identity, level playing earth, and the third message here. And number 3 is economics. I do have a background in economics. I was in my own business. I was successful until I went into the judicial system, and I won't go into that. But I do understand. I think I understand, and I've actually been in the world and have to operate a business in the world, and I did that successfully for many years until the events of my life turned everything upside down in my life. So I think I have a good track record, and I as a real estate developer, as a general contractor, especially real estate developer, you got to be able to look ahead in the economy and current events and what's going on. Got to come up with the right product people are going to buy, or you go belly up. I filed bankruptcy only because I wanted to protect what was left. The wolves and the coyotes, the wolves in sheep's clothing were coming in and taking everything. And that's the point I want to make here, folks. What happened to me back in the 90s is what's going to happen to everybody here when this happens. When this flips, when that last snowflake gets on this avalanche, or that noise in the forest makes the avalanche go down, things are going to happen very, very quickly. And look at Venezuela. Look at Venezuela. And people look around, everything looks pretty good here. Everything, people driving, they don't own those trucks they're driving. I drive a beater pickup, but I own it. And I could lose it tomorrow and it wouldn't, okay, I got to get another vehicle. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of these people are in debt up to their eyeballs. And they're not going to be able to hold it together much longer. We've already seen indications. This trade war with China, Russia, this country gets sanctioned, that country gets sanctioned. America's telling everybody you can't trade with other people all over the world, and these other people are saying, who the hell are you? Who the hell are you? And the Judeo-Christians are so stupid. They support their enemy 100%. And the people that are on their side, they don't support at all. Boy, just think what we could do with the Israelite identity movement, or the level playing. How about that museum? Go on the offensive here. Do some proactive. I understand Ken Ham did that thing with Noah over there, wherever it is, East Coast. What about a flat Earth museum? We could have a planetarium, a couple planetariums, explain how the level playing Earth works, have some models there, go back in the history, all the Copernicus and Aristotle and the Israelite traveling all over the world. Tell people the truth. I think if a group of investors put together a flat Earth exhibit somewhere, they could make a sale in one of the towns or the major city somewhere. Somebody's going to want that in their neighborhood as an attraction. So if I was in the business, I'd be looking into doing that. What do you mean, Charles? You're talking about level playing biblical Earth museum on the scale of Ken Ham's. Understand he put $60 million plus up as a bond issue. I wouldn't do this museum by going into debt. I personally wouldn't get involved in anything that had to pay interest on. But this is a good concept. But back to the collapse, because that's going to happen way before anybody is going to build a level playing Earth museum. I think. And so, but it is good to be positive and be proactive and think about what we could be doing. We could have a white nationalist museum. I don't know if that's the right word, but a showcase, just like we have automobiles in a big showroom. We could have Israelite explain who the Israelites were, etc., on a major scale, where people would come in, maybe attached to the museum. I'm just thinking out loud. You know, we put our minds to something. If we put our minds to something and we put it in Yahweh's hands, He can make it happen. And you're going to say, well, where are we going to get the money? I'll tell you one place we're going to get the money. If a lot of people would buy silver and hold on to it until we go through this collapse, we'd have all the money we need to build a museum. The other thing is, we're not required to file or pay federal income tax. That's the law. That's the law. We're not breaking the law. We're not rendering unto Caesar's what is Caesar's, because it's not a law that we have to give it. Caesar hasn't made a law that we have to give him our income tax, that we have to pay a federal income tax. So why is everybody paying a federal income tax? Because they're afraid. Well, there's more of us than there is them, right? And I got video. Go back and watch the videos on the income tax I have here. 60+ million Americans don't file federal income tax. All right, think about that. It says, render under Caesar's that which is Caesar's. Well, the federal income tax is not Caesar's. So you're not obligated to pay it. So why are you? Because you're afraid. You're afraid. And that's because we're not all working together on it. And so they're going to take our money. We can't do with our money what we want to do, because they got it and they're doing with it what they want to do. And what they want to do is destroy you. That's why all the immigration, the invasion of the European and the American, the United States. We're being invaded. The white people who founded this country, in just a few years, are going to be in the minority. And I lived in a minority country in Thailand, in South Korea, Qatar, and Nicaragua. I lived in 4 different countries as a minority in a non-white country. Hello. The other races, take care of their own people first. If you think the non-whites, when the white people in this country become a minority, are going to treat you like you would treat them, that we've been treating them, all those social justice warriors and all this affirmative action and all this other crap, male cow dung, steaming male cow dung, if you think those non-whites are going to put that into effect so that you get a better shot at a job or an apartment or housing or whatever, benefits, you got another thing coming. You got another thing coming, and that's coming from a guy that's lived in 4 non-white countries as a minority. I learned how to be a, quote, racist when I lived in South Korea. They take care of their people. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with loving your own race, which is what a racist, the meaning of the word, used to be. Every white person used to be what? A racist. And now look what's happened. We're opening our borders to non-whites. We're giving them everything. Our government is bought off and paid for, and a lot of people don't have a clue. So we're going to get what's coming to us. And I think the economic collapse, when you put this all together, I've been saying this for years, this is going to be a doozy. Millions of people are going to die in this one. Food is going to be one of the biggest problems. Fuel is going to be a big problem. When this whole credit system collapses, which is what it is, the entire system is based on debt. If the other person on the other end of the line doesn't think he's going to get paid, or the truck driver doesn't think he's going to get paid, or he's not going to be able to get fuel because the fuel guy's afraid that the local town of pump's not going to be able to pay them, it's going to reverberate through the entire economy. We're going to end up by looking like Venezuela for quite a while, because most of the people we have in control of our nation, our leaders, are bozos. They're liars. They're corrupt. They're only in it for themselves. They worship. Many of them worship Satan. We could go on and on and on and on and on. And if you don't think we're not a third world country, you won't have to hold your breath very long, because you're going to know absolutely, positively, when this collapse comes, it'll be confirmation that the United States is a third world country, just like Venezuela. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting this channel. May the grace of God our Father, the God of the Israelites, the creator of the level playing earth, the biblical level playing earth, may his grace be upon us, the Israelites, the Caucasian race, because we most certainly need it. See you.